President Biden promised to increase our commitment to space exploration, and he chose a well-known Floridian to deliver. We've covered Bill Nelson's career from his days in space to his 30 years in Congress and now at the helm of NASA. Well, former Senator, now NASA Administrator Bill Nelson, thank you, sir, for joining us.
Craig, it's a pleasure.
The Trump administration set a deadline of returning astronauts to the moon in 2024 and maintaining a permanent human presence there by the end of the decade. Where does that now stand? Are you able and willing to commit to meeting or maybe even beating those same deadlines of 2024 for a return permanent presence by the end of the decade?
The goal is 2024, but space is hard. And when you're developing new technologies, you're pressing the edge of the envelope. We have found that it sometimes causes delays because you're really doing things for the first time. And although we have been to the moon before, there are new technologies, new spacesuits that we're developing, but the goal is 2024.
The Trump administration set that goal before the Lunar Gateway would be fully operational. What would be the scientific reason of returning astronauts to the area around the South Pole before the Lunar Gateway is ready?
To get ready to go to Mars. It's one thing 3 or 4 days to the moon and then to return humans. It's another thing to go millions and millions of miles all the way to Mars. And once you're on the surface, you're there for a year or two until the planets realign so that they are closer so that you can get back within about 10 months. We've got to develop all kinds of new technologies. And that's the excitement of this program. Back to the moon and then on to Mars.
You've been a longtime supporter of the SLS heavy rocket to get us there. Given the challenges NASA has faced in recent years in developing it, what gives you full confidence the SLS is still, in fact, the way to go and that it will be good to go with no further issues?
It's happening. Hardware has been bent, engines have been tested, astronauts are being trained, and we will have an instrumented spacecraft, Orion, the capsule, that will not be having a crew, that will launch at the end of this year. So we're right at the point of beginning the Artemis program back to the moon.
At the same time, you have the private ventures partnered with NASA in missions in low Earth orbit, but separate from that, getting into their own space race to launch wealthy tourists into space. Do you think they should be investing such time and resources into launching wealthy civilians into space, or should they redirect their resources and energies into low Earth partnerships with NASA, or can and should they do both?
All of the above. When Senator Kay Bailey Hutchinson and I wrote the bill back in 2010, 11 years ago, we set NASA on a dual course. One course was to encourage the commercial operations, and primarily that to be in low Earth orbit. The other was to get NASA out of low Earth orbit and go explore the heavens. So the commercial operators that now deliver astronaut crews to and from the International Space Station and cargo, likewise, they are creating their own programs to take up private passengers that will go up. You will see more and more of this kind of activity as we open up space to those other than the full-time professional astronauts.
We have a number of federal lawmakers, and Senator Rubio in particular, who have raised concerns about these mysterious flying objects that are appearing over some of our government's most sensitive facilities, and they appear to be defying the limits of known aviation technology. What more can or will NASA do to shed more light on the mystery?
We are doing a lot. As a matter of fact, I have seen and been briefed on those films that you have seen. I have talked to those Navy pilots. They followed it, and then suddenly it would move in a direction faster than anything that they had ever seen. So what I did when I got into NASA a month ago, I asked our chief scientists and the science directorate if they would look at it from a matter of science and see if it can shed any further light on this. It's not just those couple of Navy pilots. This has happened now among a number of aviators. There's something there. We just don't know what it is.
Do you think it could possibly be Russia or another foreign adversary?
That's why we need to find out. Because if there is an adversary with that kind of technology, then we definitely need to be very, very careful. Our own Defense Department, as you've seen, has said that this is not a development of our own intelligence apparatus.
You're proposing nearly $25 billion for NASA, about a 6.5% increase over where we were. How confident are you that you can get the full $24.8 billion?
Very confident. I've spent a lot of time with my old colleagues in the Senate. I've spent a lot of time with the leadership of the appropriations and the authorizing committees in the House. Most everybody loves NASA, and they want to see this continual quest for discovery and research and development. And so I think we're going to get the support out of the Congress.
Administrator Nelson, thank you so much for your time and insight.
Thanks, Craig. Appreciate it. I miss you guys down there in absolute wonderland. That's the state of Florida.